So MyHeritage and FamilyTreeDNA have gotten together and to collaborate on sharing some information. And so it took me a little bit of time to figure out what the heck they were talking about. So what I did was I got a hold of both MyHeritage and FamilyTreeDNA. Ultimately, I have an interview here for you from FamilyTreeDNA's Katie Rowe Sherwans. We're going to talk to her. She's a project manager, and she's going to explain the whole thing. Long story short, as you're watching this, if you are a FamilyTreeDNA subscriber or a MyHeritage subscriber, this might be of interest to you. Also, if you are maybe not so happy with Ancestry DNA, as some folks are these days, this might be something of interest to you. I don't know. You do you. But I'm just telling you, this is another opportunity. But this is what this is doing now as you're watching this, is it's sharing tree information from MyHeritage to FamilyTreeDNA, and it's connecting the DNA kits to that family tree. It's complicated. I'm going to let Katie explain it to you right now. Katie, it is so nice to meet you. Welcome to Genealogy TV. What's going on with you?
Thank you so much, Connie. I am really excited to talk about the new FamilyTreeDNA and MyHeritage tree collaboration.
Yeah, I saw that press release go out and I was like, okay, maybe we need to get somebody on here and talk about this because I haven't a clue as to what you guys are up to. So
sure,
enlighten us. Feel free to share your screen and tell us whatever it is that we need to know about this collaboration between FamilyTreeDNA and MyHeritage.
All right. FamilyTreeDNA has a new collaboration with MyHeritage for building family trees. So in July, we announced a new collaboration with MyHeritage to provide FamilyTreeDNA customers the ability to use MyHeritage's tree tools. We've had a few questions, and the two companies are not merging together. We're just collaborating so that both companies can focus on their strengths. FamilyTreeDNA is the leader in DNA testing, providing not just autosomal testing, but also Y-DNA and mtDNA testing, so you can get your whole story. And MyHeritage is the leader in the family tree space with an easy-to-use and easy-to-navigate tree and amazing tree tools and features. There are so many great family tree tools on MyHeritage, and with this collaboration, FamilyTreeDNA customers will have access to these tools. Many of these tools are free, but some of them do require a subscription. A couple of my favorites, MyHeritage's Consistency Checker will scan your family tree and find inconsistencies, like if you forgot to mark an ancestor deceased or if you have a duplicate person in your tree somewhere. And the Smart Matches can be really helpful as well. Smart Matching finds matching individuals in other family trees, helping you find new details about your ancestors, and sometimes helping you add more generations to your tree. Of course, it's important to verify the sources for these smart matches, and MyHeritage's record subscription can help you do that. I could spend all day talking about all the great family tree tools that MyHeritage has, but I want to focus on how this collaboration works, how to connect and join in. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. When you first sign into FamilyTreeDNA, you'll see a message pop up on your dashboard about the tree collaboration. If you dismiss this message before connecting, don't worry, there are a couple of other ways to get to it. One of those ways will be a banner at the top of your dashboard, and then the other will be from your FamilyTreeDNA account settings. We've added a new section in your FamilyTreeDNA account settings under the genealogy section for this. In the new Family Tree settings section, you'll be able to manage your MyHeritage tree connection. If you haven't connected yet, you'll see a message about the collaboration and a button to click to learn more and start the process. The Learn More button takes you to a FamilyTreeDNA page with a lot of information about this collaboration. There's details about how it works, what each of the steps are for the connection, and an FAQ with information about what data is shared and not shared, and even more. When you're ready to connect, click the button at the top of the page that says Get Started Now. And in order to connect, you'll need to provide your consent for FamilyTreeDNA to share specific information with MyHeritage. If you consent, FamilyTreeDNA will share the name on your kit, which should be the tester, the person who provided their DNA, the date of birth of the tester, the primary email address on the kit, the number of individuals, notes, and photos in your tree, And if you choose to transfer your FamilyTreeDNA tree instead of using a MyHeritage tree or starting a new one, we'll also share your tree as a GenCom file to MyHeritage. And that'll include all of your notes and photos in the tree. It's indicated here, and I want to stress that no genetic data or match data is being shared with MyHeritage. The information shared is only what's enumerated here. If you don't want to share this information, or if you want to think about it a little longer, you can click cancel at the bottom of this window. And when you're ready to improve your family tree experience and start the connection, click I approve. Once you click I approve, you'll be taken to MyHeritage's website. The first step here will be to either create a MyHeritage account or to sign in if you already have one. The account you either create or sign into at this step will be the MyHeritage account that your FamilyTreeDNA kit is linked to, and that kit's tree is linked to. Once your account is created or once you click log in, the next step will be to link your tree. MyHeritage will provide you with a list of options for which tree to link to your FamilyTreeDNA kit. Not everyone will see all of these options, however. So if you just created a new MyHeritage account and you have a tree on FamilyTreeDNA, you'll see options to transfer your FamilyTreeDNA tree or to create a new tree with MyHeritage. If you just created a new MyHeritage account and you don't have a tree on FamilyTreeDNA, you'll only see the option to create a new MyHeritage tree. And if you signed into an existing MyHeritage account and you have a FamilyTreeDNA tree, you'll see options to transfer your FamilyTreeDNA tree, use an existing tree on MyHeritage, or start a new tree on MyHeritage. And if you signed into an existing MyHeritage account and you don't have a FamilyTreeDNA tree, you'll see options to use an existing tree on MyHeritage or to start a new tree on MyHeritage. There's a consent checkbox at the bottom of the screen that will allow MyHeritage to provide FamilyTreeDNA with information about your tree for FamilyTreeDNA's research purposes. This underlying tree data is used by our FamilyTreeDNA R&D team for a number of our features, including the by origins ethnicity estimates, Big Y age estimates, and the upcoming mitotree age estimates. Select the option for the tree you want to use and then click Continue in the bottom right. If you chose to transfer your existing FamilyTreeDNA tree, you'll see this message on MyHeritage. You'll receive an email once your tree is finished transferring and is available. If you chose to start a new tree, MyHeritage will walk you through creating that tree. You'll be able to add your parents, your grandparents, for both sides of your family in this walkthrough. Once you've completed the walkthrough, MyHeritage will display your new tree. I didn't add my parents or grandparents in this one. I just added myself. So you don't see very much here. When you create a new tree, though, MyHeritage will set the home person up with the name on your MyHeritage account. Now, I know many of our FamilyTreeDNA customers manage kits for multiple testers, so having your name as the home person isn't going to work in all of those situations. But there is a way to update the tree to work with that. So first, add the tester as a child of their parents once you get to this screen. The new tree will still think you're the home person on MyHeritage, but that's okay. You can either build the tree out to include your parents and then remove the connection to the wrong parents and add your connection to the correct parents. Or if you're not related to the tester, you can either leave yourself as a sibling to them. That way, when you go to this tree on MyHeritage, it always centers pretty closely on the tester. Or you can disconnect yourself entirely. If you do disconnect yourself entirely when viewing this tree on MyHeritage, it'll always start with your disconnected node. So you'll need to go ahead and search for the tester to get to the right place whenever you're doing that. If you choose to use an existing MyHeritage tree, then MyHeritage will take you directly to that tree. And if you transferred your FamilyTreeDNA tree, you won't need to do this next step because FamilyTreeDNA already knows who you are in that tree. This step is for anyone who starts a new tree or uses an existing MyHeritage tree. When your connection is complete, go back to FamilyTreeDNA and go to the Family Tree settings under the Genealogy section of your FamilyTreeDNA account settings. From there, click the button that says Link Home Person. A window will open up asking you to select the name that represents you in the tree. For the FamilyTreeDNA customers who manage multiple kits for multiple testers, this should be the name of the person who submitted their DNA for this kit. The window will suggest up to 25 possible people in the tree to link to. If you don't see the tester's name there, there's a search field at the very top where you can enter in their name and then press enter. Once you do find the name of the tester in the list, click their name and then click link to confirm. Once you've completed this step, the link home person button will no longer display on the settings page. This next step is also not necessary for anyone who transferred their FamilyTreeDNA tree. We already know where your linked matches belong in that tree. It's also not necessary if you didn't have any DNA matches linked to your tree on FamilyTreeDNA. But if you started a new tree or you used an existing MyHeritage tree and you did have linked matches in your tree on FamilyTreeDNA before, you'll see a button that says Link by Matches where the Link Home Person button was. Go ahead and click that button, and a window will pop up with a list of each of your previously linked matches. Click Search next to each one to find them in your connected tree. This will search your connected tree for anyone who has the same name as your match. Now, the name your match has on their FamilyTreeDNA kit might be different than the name you have for them on your tree. If that's the case and no results are returned initially, you can change the name that's in the search field at the top of the page to find the name that they're listed on in your tree on MyHeritage. And if you started a new tree or you connected to an existing MyHeritage tree that doesn't have this match in it, you'll first need to build that tree out to them before you can relink them. Once you find the correct individual in the search results, click on their name in the results and then click Link to confirm. You'll repeat this for each match that you need to relink. And the process for linking new matches has changed a little. You'll start off the same way. From your matches page, click Link on Family Tree next to the match that you want to link. This opens up a window similar to what we saw when relinking your matches or linking your home person. We'll start you off by searching your connected family tree with the name of the match that you selected. And remember, that match may have a different name on FamilyTreeDNA than they do in your tree. So if that's the case, you'll see the No Results Found message, and you'll need to adjust the name you search for in the search field at the top of the window. Once you find the match in your tree, click their name and then click Link to confirm. I do want to stress here again that no genetic data and no match data is being shared between FamilyTreeDNA and MyHeritage, even with this process. With this new process, you're searching your family tree for a name. FamilyTreeDNA knows that name is one of your matches, but MyHeritage doesn't. To them, it's just searching for a name on your tree. When the search begins, FamilyTreeDNA tells MyHeritage the individual that you set as the home person for this kit. That way, when MyHeritage provides the names it found, it'll also provide the relationship of those individuals to your specified home person. So if I'm searching for my mom on my kit, I'll see it say that she's my mother. But if I connect my niece to the same tree on MyHeritage and search for my mom while I'm signed into my niece's kit, the results will say grandmother. With these search results, MyHeritage tells FamilyTreeDNA not just the relationship, but if that relationship is on your maternal side or your paternal side. When you confirm the link, nothing is sent back to MyHeritage or saves on MyHeritage. FamilyTreeDNA saves the relationship and displays that on your match list and starts calculating family matching, which triangulates your match list into paternal or maternal buckets based on the matches that you link to your family tree. And there's also a new process for unlinking your matches, since this isn't done on the family tree anymore. And this process is super simple. So after you've linked a match, an unlink button will appear next to them. You need to unlink them, click unlink, and your match will be unlinked.
Let me interrupt just for a second.
Sure.
Can we go back one slide?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say somebody, I want to make sure I'm clear on this because it's a little confusing to me. So when we're linking a relationship between FamilyTreeDNA and MyHeritage. So when somebody is doing their research, are they researching on MyHeritage or FamilyTreeDNA?
So for your matches here, those are still only going to be on FamilyTreeDNA. So if you're researching with your matches, you'll do that here. If you're researching through records and so on, your tree is going to be on MyHeritage.
So the link then does what on MyHeritage? What advantages is there on MyHeritage?
The link does nothing on MyHeritage. It's all for FamilyTreeDNA's parental phasing of your matches. So when you link a match, we'll look at the overlapping segments you and that match share, and we'll say, find all of your other matches that share those overlapping segments. And if the match was on your paternal side, we'll put all of those matches in the section that says paternal. And if it was on the maternal side, we'll put them all in the section that says maternal. That way, you know, all of these other people are maternal or paternal based on that one match that you knew.
So FamilyTreeDNA is leveraging the family tree on MyHeritage to help. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when you were saying if you want to unlink it, I'm like, well, what link are we breaking exactly? I mean,
I can make this a little more clear.
No, I mean, you did. I mean, I think you helped.
Sure.
Continue, please.
Okay. There's also a new process for unlinking your matches. So this would be if you accidentally linked your match as the wrong relationship. So if I linked my father here as, my brother instead of my father. In order to unlink that match so you can get them to the right relationship, click Unlink. That button appears next to each match, next to the relationship label for it. And then the process to view trees of your matches is also still the same. You'll click on the pedigree icon next to your match to view their tree. If they haven't connected to MyHeritage, then their FamilyTreeDNA will open in a new tab, the same as it has always done. If they have connected to MyHeritage, then their MyHeritage tree will open up in a new tab. When we first released this collaboration, we realized that we overlooked one thing. We forgot to make sure that we zero in on the person linked as the home person when displaying matched trees. So initially, it has zeroed in on the person who MyHeritage has as the home person, which can be really confusing, especially since living people are always private, and it can be difficult to figure out where you should be looking on the matches tree.
Okay, let me interrupt one more time, if you don't mind, just because I'm confused. I know the viewers are going to be confused.
Sure.
So the blog post originally said that FamilyTreeDNA will retire our current tree builder on September 9th, 2024, and all trees not connected to the new experience will become read-only. So does that mean that you are importing a tree from MyHeritage into FamilyTreeDNA? Is that?
No. So for anyone who hasn't connected to MyHeritage, it'll still show their FamilyTreeDNA tree. So they can see it, their matches can see it. The only difference is that if it's your tree, you can't edit it. And I've got a slide about some questions we've gotten about the read-only dates.
Okay.
When you're viewing matches trees for people who have connected to MyHeritage, or if you need to do anything for your tree when you've connected to MyHeritage, then you'll go to MyHeritage to do that. So when you
really need an account at both places to fully exercise the FamilyTreeDNA cousin matches.
Yes.
Because you got to have a tree, otherwise DNA cousin matches aren't.
They don't mean anything. It's just like, here's a list of people that
we can guess as to what the relationship is, but okay. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So when we first released this collaboration, we realized that we forgot to make sure that we zero in on the person linked as the home person when displaying matched trees. So currently that's displaying as whoever MyHeritage has as the home person, not who you put as the home person for the kit. That can be really confusing, especially since living people are always private and it can be difficult to figure out where you should be looking. For example, I use the same tree for both my family and my husband's family. So I linked his kit on FamilyTreeDNA to that same tree. But if you're one of his matches and you click to view his tree, it's going to zero in on me. And I'm not genetically related to my husband, thankfully. So that's not going to give you the information you're looking for right away. We're working on improving this. We should have that fix out soon. At that point, when you view a matches tree, it'll zero in on the match on that tree. So if you're one of my husband's matches, it'll zero in on him on the tree instead of me. And now if at any point you think you've messed something up or you want to change the MyHeritage account or the tree or the home person, you'll be able to disconnect from your FamilyTreeDNA account settings. If you do need to disconnect, make sure you do so on FamilyTreeDNA first before changing anything on MyHeritage. You're going to need to be signed into your MyHeritage account during this process. To start the process, click the disconnect button. We'll show you a warning before you disconnect anything. Go ahead and click disconnect account to confirm that you want to disconnect. This process will not delete anything on MyHeritage. After you've disconnected, if you need to change or delete anything on your MyHeritage account, you'll be able to go to MyHeritage and do that there. And when you disconnect, your FamilyTreeDNA tree will appear on FamilyTreeDNA again.
Okay, question. So if you've connected to MyHeritage and it's using the MyHeritage tree, but it's not, I'm confused. So it's not importing to FamilyTreeDNA is what you told me, right?
Right. It's not importing it here. We're just giving a link to MyHeritage to see it.
But this screen says to restore your tree on FamilyTreeDNA if you were to disconnect. And so if you didn't do that, what tree are you seeing on FamilyTreeDNA? None?
So if you had a tree on FamilyTreeDNA before you connected, then we'll display that tree again when you disconnect. If you didn't have a tree on FamilyTreeDNA before you connected, then we won't display anything.
Okay, next question, follow up.
Yes.
Let's pretend that we're linked. So this screen is kind of irrelevant. We're not going to disconnect.
Right.
So on FamilyTreeDNA, we have no tree now because the tree is connected to the MyHeritage tree. But a FamilyTreeDNA cousin comes into FamilyTreeDNA and then they are looking around. Do they have to have a MyHeritage account to see the family tree that's connected? Like, say they're a cousin of mine and they want to look at my tree. Do they have to have a MyHeritage account?
That's going to depend on your settings for the tree at MyHeritage. So MyHeritage has some privacy settings that are different than what we had at FamilyTreeDNA for our tree. With MyHeritage, you can choose to share your tree with no one, so it's entirely private. You can choose to share it with site members. So those are going to be people that you give permission to specifically to view your tree.
Right.
Or you can make it accessible to everyone. So anyone can view that tree, even without a MyHeritage account, as long as they have the link to the tree.
Okay. Next question. Thank you for letting me interrupt your presentation.
Of course. Yeah.
Mine's completely public, I think. So if that is the case, do I need to go change any settings on MyHeritage in order to make this linking thing work?
No, you won't have to change any settings there. So if you connect
is
to
it going
to
default to whatever it is, or does with this change, MyHeritage users are going to have to go change some settings?
No, MyHeritage settings are going to stay the same. So if you connect your account to that MyHeritage tree that's fully accessible to anyone, then any of your matches will be able to click the link and view it without having a MyHeritage account. And you're not going to have to go in and change anything either on FamilyTreeDNA or on MyHeritage.
So if it's on MyHeritage, if it's a site-only permission, then they would have to have a MyHeritage account, correct?
Yes. If it's site only, they would need a MyHeritage account, and whoever the tree owner is would have to grant them permission to be a member of that site.
Through MyHeritage, not through FamilyTreeDNA.
Correct. Yes, through MyHeritage.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to get some clarification there.
Of course. Yeah. These are a lot of these things I haven't thought of or heard from our customers yet. So anything helps.
I'm just trying to get the questions that I know are going to show up in the comments.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for that. So there are a few questions that we've received frequently since the launch of this collaboration. For customers managing multiple FamilyTreeDNA kits, each kit can be connected to the same MyHeritage account or to different accounts for the various kits. And each kit can be connected to the same MyHeritage tree or the same FamilyTreeDNA tree or to different trees. If you're connecting multiple kits to the same tree, it's especially important to make sure you're linking the correct home person in your FamilyTreeDNA account settings for each kit. And we've had a few questions about the read-only date for FamilyTreeDNA trees. So after September 9th, 2024, FamilyTreeDNA trees that are not connected to MyHeritage will become read-only. So you can still view them, but you can't edit them, add to them, replace them with a new tree on FamilyTreeDNA. No trees are being deleted. You can still view your own tree, and you can still view match trees that were made on FamilyTreeDNA. You'll still be able to download your tree as a GenCom, and you can still connect your kit to MyHeritage. You'll also be unable to link new matches to your FamilyTreeDNA tree after September 9th. We're not removing any existing links that you already have, but you'll be unable to add new ones without connecting to MyHeritage. And we've received a few questions about MyHeritage's policy for how many individuals you can have on your site without a MyHeritage subscription. MyHeritage does limit it to 250 individuals. However, when you connect to MyHeritage, if your FamilyTreeDNA tree is larger than 250 individuals and you don't have a subscription, all individuals in your tree will still transfer and show up. They're not going to cut any people out of your tree just because it's over that limit. And for the first 90 days after connecting, MyHeritage is providing FamilyTreeDNA customers with unlimited individuals for free, meaning you can add as many people as you want to your tree for the first 90 days without needing a subscription. And if you're still looking for more information on the collaboration, we've got some great content available for you. Both FamilyTreeDNA and MyHeritage have blog articles on the new collaboration. You can find ours at blog.familytreedna.com. You can find information about the connection process and linking matches in the FamilyTreeDNA Help Center, which is help.familytreedna.com. And MyHeritage has a ton of information in their knowledge base on using their tree tools and building trees on their site. There are also some really great webinars available on Legacy Family Tree webinars as well. Roberta Estes has a free webinar on the collaboration there. And there's also many MyHeritage webinars about using their tree and their tools as well. Many of those are also free. And that's it.
All right. I have more questions. All right. So I can hear it now. I can hear the keys clicking. But what is this going to cost me? That's right. The next question I'm going to hear. So what is the cost? Let's pretend for a moment a couple different scenarios. One is they have a FamilyTreeDNA account, but they don't have a MyHeritage account, or vice versa. Why would they want to sign up with FamilyTreeDNA at this point? I'm just throwing it out there because part of the strategy has been for years is take a DNA test over at Ancestry and then upload it to FamilyTreeDNA, upload it to MyHeritage. So what's your recommendation on the new strategy? Of course, okay, let me back up. For those who are not that familiar with DNA, we're talking about autosomal DNA only, right? So there's no transfer of Y DNA or any of these other mitochondrial DNA or any of the other stuff that you guys offer, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So let's see. If you have a MyHeritage account, but you don't have an account over on FamilyTreeDNA, you can start one really simple for free. If you have an account for MyHeritage where you've done a DNA test, you can transfer that DNA to FamilyTreeDNA for free and receive autosomal DNA matches, and you can unlock those tools for a $19 fee. Those tools would be the chromosome browser, the My Origins ethnicity percentages, the chromosome painter for those percentages.
That's on MyHeritage.
That's on FamilyTreeDNA. Okay. So if you have your DNA on MyHeritage, you can transfer it for free to FamilyTreeDNA.
Okay.
That allows you to get a larger matches pool. So you'll have your matches that have tested with MyHeritage, and you'll get your matches that have tested with FamilyTreeDNA. And you can also explore the other types of tests that FamilyTreeDNA offers that no one else does. We offer Y-DNA testing that looks at your direct paternal line. So your father, his father, his father, and so on. And that type of DNA can go back much further than autosomal DNA. So Y-DNA doesn't change when it's passed down from one generation to the next. So it can look back further than the typical 5 to 8 generations that autosomal DNA does. And then we have mitochondrial DNA testing, or mtDNA. That does pretty much the same thing that Y-DNA does, except it's for your mother's line. So you get mtDNA passed down to you from your mom, and so it can find out information about her line, her mother, her mother, her mother, and her mother, going back beyond that 5 to 8 generation threshold that autosomal DNA has. And if you're on FamilyTreeDNA, but you don't have a MyHeritage account, you can sign up for a MyHeritage account for free. You can transfer your existing tree over or build a new tree on MyHeritage, and you'll get access to so many more tree tools than FamilyTreeDNA was able to offer. So MyHeritage allows you to store more information about the people on your tree. FamilyTreeDNA only provided you with birth and death dates and locations, but MyHeritage lets you enter in all of that other important record information, marriage records, census records, all the things that can help you with your genealogy. They also have a lot of other tools that help you find matches to, to other trees that are on MyHeritage with their smart matching. And if you want to sign up for a subscription, you can do that. And that allows you to access their entire records database, which I don't remember the number off the top of my head about how many records they have, but it's, millions or billions. It's something very high like that.
Okay. The questions keep rattling around in my head here.
Great.
Setting MyHeritage aside for a moment, is FamilyTreeDNA ever going to have a single login for all the different kits I manage?
That is on our list of things to do. We know that very high amount of our customers manage more than one kit. I'm one of them. I've got kits for my whole family and my husband. And we want to build something for those customers where you can sign in once, access all of your different testers in that one account, and manage everyone from there.
Okay, I think you've answered some of these questions. Can you provide links to some of those, the documentation blogs that you were talking about? That would
Absolutely.
be helpful. So for those who are watching, I'll try and put those in the description box. So my thinking is if somebody's already done a DNA test at FamilyTreeDNA and at MyHeritage, what do I do? I mean, is it worth it to do anything? Do I need to download my family tree from FamilyTreeDNA before it goes away? I don't know.
So if you've already done DNA testing at both FamilyTreeDNA and MyHeritage, you can still benefit from this collaboration. So it doesn't apply to DNA, but it's great that you've got your DNA on both places. This applies just to your tree. So you can export your GEDCOM file from FamilyTreeDNA if you want to. You can transfer that tree to MyHeritage if you haven't built a tree there already, or if you want to use your FamilyTreeDNA tree more than the one you have on MyHeritage. Or you can link to a tree that you have on MyHeritage. And then you get access to a great tree building experience, lots of tools that can help you figure out who your common ancestors with your matches are on either FamilyTreeDNA or MyHeritage.
You ready for a hypothetical?
Yes.
I have a tree on MyHeritage. I have a tree on FamilyTreeDNA. I have a bunch of kits. And I go to link and I accidentally say, transfer the GEDCOM to MyHeritage. What happens over at MyHeritage? Does it duplicate the tree? Does it erase the tree that's already over there? What does it do?
So this sounds similar to what my situation was. I had originally built my tree on MyHeritage, and I downloaded that as a GEDCOM file, uploaded it to FamilyTreeDNA. I was making updates on both my FamilyTreeDNA tree, on my MyHeritage tree, on the trees for all of the kits that I manage. It was a mess. When I transferred, I had the option to either transfer that FamilyTreeDNA tree back over to MyHeritage, or choose to use my tree that's still on MyHeritage. If I transferred my FamilyTreeDNA tree, then I'll have that tree and my MyHeritage copy. It just adds another tree to your MyHeritage account. It really depends on which one you want to do. I prefer to use my MyHeritage tree to link my kits to, because I've got all that record information there. And now I don't have to update multiple trees when I find new ancestors, or if I unfortunately discover that who I thought was an ancestor isn't.
I'm not sure I was listening close enough.
No
So
worries.
does it build another tree over MyHeritage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Short answer is yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to think on behalf of all the different viewers and all the different situations.
Mhm.
They have a MyHeritage tree. They don't have a FamilyTreeDNA account. Why should they?
Mhm.
Is there an
Yeah.
advantage there? And I would say if you are seeking to do Y or mitochondrial at this point, then it would be an advantage.
Mhm.
There might be, so the DNA cousin matches from FamilyTreeDNA are not transferring over to MyHeritage.
Correct. Yeah. They will not transfer over unless you go and you download your autosomal raw data file and then go and upload that to MyHeritage. Your matches are only going to stay on FamilyTreeDNA.
Why is FamilyTreeDNA doing this?
MyHeritage has a much better tree than we did.
Fair? They have records and tools as well.
They have records and tools as well. And I know I was always frustrated using our tree, and I know our customers were too.
I want to make sure that I understand one more thing. You got 5 different kits. So when you transfer or link each one of those to MyHeritage account, we're going to have 5 different home people?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yes.
And what if you mess that up? Because here's the thing. Every other service that I've ever heard of, including MyHeritage,
Mhm.
you only have one home person, and that's usually yourself.
Yeah.
But you could change that. But under this scenario, we're going to have a home person for every DNA kit that we are linking to the MyHeritage tree.
Yes. That way, if your matches go to view that tree, they'll see you as the main person. So they'll know who to look at for how they're matching genetically. And when you link your matches, we'll be able to phase them, to triangulate them properly into the right paternal and maternal buckets for you.
So I suspect, knowing that MyHeritage and probably FamilyTreeDNA are looking to increase their exposure, as maybe some folks aren't quite as happy with Ancestry DNA as they used to be. And this will increase the number of kits over there at MyHeritage, correct?
No, so not directly. It won't increase the number of DNA kits with them because we're not sharing DNA between
That's
the two
right.
companies.
My bad. So they're not going to have any DNA cousin matches happening between MyHeritage and FamilyTreeDNA. It's only the
Correct.
tree.
Only the tree, yes.
Okay. I get it now.
Yay!
It took a minute to sink in, as
That's
I'm sure
okay.
it does for others, because this is kind of confusing because the way some of the press was written, it was like, are we sharing DNA? I think that would,
Right.
and so
And-
from a privacy issue, that might be an issue. So I guess that's
Right.
not the case.
Correct.
So there is no privacy issue there.
Mhm.
The only other concern that I have for the viewers is the tree on FamilyTreeDNA. I don't know how many people really use FamilyTreeDNA as their primary go-to tree where they're putting everything, because you guys don't have records there. You're only connecting DNA.
Yeah.
The wheels are turning. I'm trying to develop new strategies here.
Yes.
All right. Well, I do appreciate you coming today and giving us the what's what.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. How would you feel if you could break down those brick walls in your family tree? Or maybe you're just getting started in genealogy. What if you had the skills to confidently research your family history? We do this ancestor after ancestor, going back generation after generation. I do this all the time, and so can you. I help genealogy enthusiasts like you break down brick walls, learning smart research methods. I help you learn to find the records, and I will help you get organized so that you can share your ancestry with your family and future generations. I do this through a monthly membership course. It's called the Genealogy TV Academy. There are 2 components to this academy. There is the self-guided platform where you can take the courses online in your own time, and you can take them right now. Then there is the live Zoom meetings where you can watch a live presentation in the virtual classroom and participate in the discussion after each presentation. Now, if you can't make the live sessions, it's not a big deal because they're all recorded and added to the course platform within a few days of the live session. With the All Access Pass membership, you get everything I produce at the Genealogy TV Academy and on the Genealogy TV YouTube channel, including all of the handouts, worksheets, and the videos, all commercial free. The All Access Pass includes the live Zoom meetings, which happens typically the first Wednesday of each month at 3 p.m. Eastern US. And the live Q&A session, again, these are all Zoom meetings, and this typically happens the 3rd Wednesday of each month. So we're getting together a couple times each month. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions and get feedback. Access to all past sessions are also included, and at this point, there's hundreds of them. I've even grouped some of these into subjects. I call them paths, so that you can take a path from point A to point B to learn specific skills. You'll have access to all of the videos from 2022 to present day. Those are the YouTube videos with their handouts. All of that is included on the Academy platform, and it's all commercial free. Now, access to the Genealogy TV Insiders Facebook group is also a great community where you can ask questions. So are you ready to learn some new skills to help prove your family history and to get organized and maybe break down some of those brick walls? Are you ready to create a legacy that you can share with your family and your grandkids and have an accurate genealogy that will last for hundreds and hundreds of years? Are you ready? If so, click the Genealogy TV Academy link on the screen now, and we'll see you in the next Zoom meeting.